But I enjoy the hell out of it. I enjoy comics and I enjoy writing, and I enjoy this. God knows why. And always the best part for me is interacting with you guys, proving that therapy doesn't work. So if you guys have questions, thoughts, notes, and we might just to get back to one thing for 1 second. So people think that I'm sensitive to criticism. I'm not. I think that criticism is important. In fact, at the lineup at the autograph yesterday, a guy came up with a bunch of things to sign, and he said, love this, important to not Supreme Power, Squadron Supreme. He said, I hated that. I said, thank you. Why didn't you like it? And he gave me the reasons why. It didn't work as a team book, it lost the energy. I said, I agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. And he come like, built up with a full head of steam, like, God damn, tell him about it. I didn't know what to do. I agreed with him, Shit, now what do I do? So, I'm open, I always welcome criticism if it's informed criticism. And you take a moment to think about what you're saying. There's a great story. Van Gogh was a huge fan of Gauguin. And one day he learned that Gauguin was coming in to town. He wanted him to come by for coffee. But what he actually wanted was Gauguin's opinion about his work. So he took all of his paintings and just covered the walls, and every inch of the house was covered with paintings. And Gauguin comes in and looks up, I know what this is all about. And doesn't say a word, just walks around the house, looks at each painting, comes back to the front of the door, pauses a second and says, you paint too fast. And Gauguin says, no, you look too fast. I've used that story a lot of times over the years. It's yours now. So back to the larger point. Any questions or comments or suggestions, and by the way, speaking of criticism, if anyone wants to make a concession of Joe, you suck shirts or posters, I will sign them. I commit, in fact, everyone just say, Joe, it sucks.
Joe, it sucks.
Thank you. Now I feel like I'm home. Seriously, whoever wants a concession stand, Joe, you suck, or Joe, it sucks. Either way, t-shirts, posters, toilet paper, whatever you want, go for it.
Cafe Press.
Huh?
Cafe Press.
Cafe Press? True enough. All right. You want 10% now? Is that what the deal is? So you can either go to the microphone, or we can just stand up in a loud, clear voice and ask a question. And we have a fight to the finish line between the person who wishes. Okay.
Ahoy, Joe. Wow. Sorry about that.
Yes.
I got a chance to read an advanced copy of Earth a couple months ago, and something I noticed about it was the pacing.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What's your thing?
I enjoyed it very much, and I'm not somebody that likes Superman that much. The only other Superman I've actually enjoyed is All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
But I really enjoyed the pacing of it. It's not 22 pages in a beat, 22 pages in a beat. As a writer, did you enjoy having to, freedom to do 140 pages versus 22 pages at a time?
Totally. In comics, writing comics is like writing television in the sense that in TV you have a 14-page or 9-page or 10-page act. You gotta build up to a crescendo, cut to a commercial where you have 16 rabbits, singing rabbits selling toilet paper, come back and you do, another thing like this. In comics, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, so. But to write with the measure and pace of a novel was, well, a novel experience.
It was very refreshing for a superhero comic.
It's a lame pun, I give you that one. And that was kind of the fun of it. They said, do you want to write it so it can be broken up or write it as issues? No, just let me write it. And to take the time for a slow burn at the beginning, you get into his character. What the thoughts you had about it?
Because usually when you read superhero stuff in trades, it's 22 pages in a beat, 22 pages in a beat. It's very frustrating. And especially with your comics, you do like to pace stuff out from a reader's perspective. It's like, well, nothing just happened this issue. So I really, really enjoyed it's 140 pages, it's straight through. It really, really worked really well. I thought, anyway. As a professional geek, I thought it worked really well.
What do you think about the Perry stuff and Jimmy Olsen stuff?
Oh, I loved all of that. I thought the Jimmy stuff was really, really great. It's what a photographer would do in a big city situation like that.
And Perry always on a slow burn.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, and you should direct Forbidden Planet. It means so much to you. Everything. You have directing experience with the Babylon 5 stuff, so.
I would, no.
No? I think you should do it.
No. I don't have the skill set required. I can do like 3 guys in a room, but that's, the planet would be just way beyond me.
Don't try.
No, I agree with you. Interestingly enough, and I'm going to tell you this off the record because I may not go anywhere, but I said to Warner's a while back, because we got to talk about more DVDs and this, I said, fuck off. When you're ready to do something real with B5, either a big budget film or a series,
Yes.
I said, when you're ready to do one of those 2 things, either just give me a show in complete creative freedom or a movie, call me. Otherwise, don't bother me. About a month ago, the phone rang. I don't know where this is going to go yet, but when they call you and something it's enlightened self-interest rears its head, there's something going on. I can't tell you what it is yet, because it may not go anywhere, but there's movement in the tall grass. Ooh, skin.
Hi, I've been a fan since Babylon 5.
I'm so sorry.
Actually, as I got older, I discovered I've been a fan since apparently He-Man and She-Ra. So,
Even in prison, you get time off for good behavior.
But I am a longtime Wonder Woman fan. I'm a longtime message board person. I'd like to thank you for not coming on the message boards, because there are some really horrible people there. But I promise that
They're horrible everywhere.
Yes.
Mostly in my neighborhood.
In particular on those boards, there are
True story.
horrible people.
Hold that thought.
Absolutely.
I'm my neighborhood's resident warlock. All right, I'm just when the maids who work in the area walk by, they cross themselves and walk into my house. Because I work late hours, I work at night. Lights are always working in the middle of the night, and I come out in the daytime like this, get the mail, And one day I was out getting the mail, and across the street is this couple with a little yappy dog. And it tries to make an escape. And I don't blame it, frankly. I would too if it was him. And he runs over toward me. She races after it, grabs the dog, and heads back to her house. And on the way back, thinking I wouldn't hear it, said, "I've told you before, stay in the yard and away from the strange man." Sorry.
I'm a big fan of what you're doing with Wonder Woman, and I want to thank you for that. And
Thank you.
I've been the one on the forums basically saying, no, he's setting it up now. Be patient and wait. And the big question I promised them I would ask, the question was whether or not you're changing or reworking the origin prior to when the timeline changes. Because apparently, 20 years ago, and the nitpickers on the forum are pointing out all the discrepancies that seem to be pre when the start of this occurs. And while we're talking about the origin pre-crisis and now since they've changed what happened during crisis, are you sort of writing at the same time a Wonder Woman year 1 leading up to the point of where your story took off from?
No. What they're perceiving, this all happened very hurriedly. So we have to do something quick or we're all going to be dead, the gods. And they took action and it's really sloppy. And some things rippled out ahead, some rippled out afterward. So we're seeing the consequences of haste. When even the gods are rushing to do something, something's screwed up somewhere. And that's why it wasn't done properly.
Okay.
So as we begin to go forward in the story, you're going to see more and more things, which again, are not going to initially add up. And the reason they don't is because they're clues to something else. There's 3 levels she has to get through. The one against the guy who we call the Colonel, which is the one right now, which resolves next issue, is the first level. Then we have the Morrigan. I wanted to get her foes she hasn't fought before, but also based in mythology, and weren't necessarily always guys. And the Morrigan are 3 Irish gods, but they've added a couple to their ranks, who are just incredibly powerful and dangerous. And behind them is one more person. So each 4 issues will peel back part of the onion. And when you see the last stage, then it'll all suddenly, if you look back at it, it'll all make sense. Like in Babylon 5, if you watch the show, then you go back and watch it again, things that seem anomalous suddenly make sense.
Exactly. Yeah. In particular, I just hate to drag this out. The one thing that they're all howling about, Hippolyta never had the lasso. Apparently, it was in Perez's origin, it was made for Diana. And now they're saying, well, now, Straczynski says she has, Hippolyta had it, which they seem to think that's a changing of prehistory, or is that also part of the storyline?
I have a two-word suggestion.
Tell me.
Not that one.
If I were allowed to use that
Be
language
nice.
in the forum, I'm with you.
Decaf coffee.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Right, sir.
And I totally blanked out. I had like this awesome speech.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
No, I just wanted to complain about your work.
Okay.
When I was, a few years ago, I had a really tough time in my life. Some family members died, and I decided to go to counseling. And at one time, my counselor asked me, "So, what do you think you get your moral, priorities from?" And my answer at the time, very honestly, was that it was Spider-Man. So I was reading your Spider-Man, and there was this wonderful speech that Peter Parker gave about always trying to do his best, no matter what happened. And so that's one thing that happened. Continuing with my saga of
Was it a video use?
what's up?
Was it actually a video use?
Yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, that's kind of what helped me to get through that period.
I'm glad, thank you.
So that was very embarrassing, but very awesome too. And similarly,
Nothing embarrassing.
when I was on a plane actually to meet my wife, somebody I had met online, we weren't married yet, of course. And I was also reading Spider-Man, and I was crying because it was the 9/11 issue. And so one of the stewardesses walks up to me and is like, "Hey, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just reading Spider-Man."
It's the usual reaction to my work.
No. It was a good kind of inspiring type of thing. So, needless to say, I really appreciate your work. I've been a fan, just like the previous person said, from back in the day. There was these shows that I really liked, some of the Ghostbusters episodes and stuff like that, that always left me inspired at the end, rather than just, TV. And so, I don't know, it took a while before I found out that they were all written by the same person. So, you've always been, at least for me, like a really positive influence. My neighbors are also afraid of me now, which is awesome. I just want to tell you that I really appreciate it. I heard a story, I think a few conventions ago, you talked about Rob Sterling and how much he meant to you, even though you never really get to meet him. So I feel like you've influenced me as a person that much. So I just want to say that to you and to thank you for it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I try where